Hello YouTube, it's rare off-stream recording for the Plus channel time because I'm getting ready for leaving to French Nationals soon because I'm going to be commentating it this weekend on my Twitch channel. In case you didn't hear about that yet, French Nationals is going to have English commentary on my Twitch channel that I'm going to be traveling to the event for, so I'm really excited for that, but I'm not streaming today. However, they did announce the last remaining 2 Unchained cards from the Revolution booster. We've seen the first couple ones already. And I thought they were solid, but at the same time, they weren't exactly what Unchained needed, I feel like. So maybe those last two to give a little bit of more context for those other cards, which once again, they weren't bad. I just feel like they didn't quite hit the sweet spot for what exactly I wanted for Unchained. So let's take a look at what these other two provide. Okay, let's see. We have a level 8 Dark Fiend monster, Unchained Malevolent Magistrate Kamura. So most importantly, even though it's a high-level monster, it is not an Unchained Soul, which matters for some of the Link monsters. 2000 attack, 2500 defense. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. You can target up to 3 cards you control, destroy them, and if you do, special summon this card from your hand, then you can apply these effects in sequence based on the original types of the destroyed cards. Monster, draw a card. Ooh, I'm a fan of that. Spell, change a monster's battle position. Trap, destroy one other card on the field. If this card on the field is destroyed by a card effect, you can destroy all monsters on the field. Ooh, okay, so now we're talking. This is more up my alley in terms of support for an existing archetype. Not just because it draws a card, but okay. Let me think about this. The spell effect is the least relevant one. Changing a battle position is relatively niche. However, of course, there's also not a whole lot of Unchained spells out there. I mean, this one up here is another one that we're going to read in a second, but destroying one of your monsters to draw a card and then trigger its graveyard effect is neat. That is going to be a +1 most of the time because basically every single Unchained is going to trigger when it's destroyed. And if you're going second and you manage to destroy one of your trap cards, you can also pop a card on the field anywhere, non-target, which is really nice bonus effect for going second. Going first, I think you're rarely going to want to pop another card that you control because this card can already pop 3. So giving you another destruction on your side of the field is probably not going to be relevant most of the time. But still, I think that's already pretty neat as an extender in your hand. Of course, since it is a level 8 monster, it is not a starter whatsoever. I still could see this card being played in multiples because it's a great extender. It's a great way to 2-card combo or after you get hand trapped on something, right? Like the new Unchained tour guide, quote unquote, that they announced in the first batch. You know, if you normal summon that and they imprime it or whatever, this is a great card to have. And then this second effect, I think, is really, really nice because it makes your trap cards better on the opponent's turn, right? Like Unchained has this sort of like, what's the right word for it? Where you destroy one of your cards and one of your opponent's cards, the pop one on each side of the field. If you manage to use that on this, it's really, really nice. So Unchained does have ways to pop their own cards on the opponent's turn. Sharvara as well. So you can like bring this back with the chamber from the graveyard after it's ended up there after your first turn combo, bring it back, pop it, blow up the entire board. That seems really, really cool. That also does fix some things that I really wanted from the support because that could be a respectable Fuwalo's half board where you set up access to the monster to pop it on the opponent's turn, right? That is something that Unchained desperately needed, is better ways to play into the Molcharmies, mainly Fuwalos. And this could provide that to the point that like none of the other cards that I've seen so far from the first wave of the support, none of those did it quite as well as this one, I think, because this one you commit it to the board, you draw a card. If you get Fuwad, so be it. Pass, pop this card at some point on your opponent's turn. Going to destroy all of their monsters and all of your monsters. So you can trigger, like, let's say you have a couple of leftover Unchained monsters on the field because you were under Fuwa and you didn't want to link them off. This will proc them all. This will destroy them all, and then you summon other stuff from your deck, and then you can do a whole lot of cool stuff with that. Trigger your Yama and everything. Like that's neat. I really, really like that, especially because it's also going to have a bonus effect when going second. You know, setting a trap and then activating this in hand seems like an incredibly strong play going second into a board, making the trap cards also better draws when you play into a board. So And they do get an additional trap with the new support as well, and I really like that because I would be worried about that with the new Unchained support. We play 3 different trap cards now, maybe even in multiples. Who knows what the build is going to end up looking like? But what do you do if you draw those cards going second? Well, now you have a great answer. You can pop them and get a bonus out of it if you have this guy involved. That's awesome. Also, I believe this does make the other the new version of Sharvara, the little Sharvara girl, a little bit better, because that was like discard it from your hand to special any fiend from your hand and then destroy a card you control. If you pair those two together, that's a turn 0 dark hole, pretty much. It's a 2-card combo. You do lose 2 cards in the process, which isn't ideal. But I mean, if it happens once in a blue moon, that can save you going second, right? So that makes this better as well. So yeah, that's one of the things that this was really missing for me to really like this support from the Revolution booster. So I'm a big fan of this one for sure. Yeah, okay. And then we have a new, looks like a continuous spell. Yep, continuous spell. Reincarnation of the Unchained. Continuous spell card. You can only activate 1 card with this card's name per turn. When this card resolves, you can add an Unchained spell except Reincarnation of the Unchained or 1 Abomination's Prison from your deck to your hand. Okay. I feel like I don't even need to read the second effect. This card's already good. I mean, Unchained spell, I don't know if this is going to make people start playing the Wailing again. There is an Unchained continuous spell already out there that also has the when it's destroyed on the field, summon 1 from deck, which is fine. Maybe it could be a one-off again, just in case you need it. But being able to search Abomination's Prison is pretty nice. Playing 1 copy of the other one could be a nice way to respect Droll and Lockbird, because of course Abomination's Prison is a searcher. So searching for Abomination's Prison, maybe you don't want that. Maybe you want the Wailing instead sometimes, could be okay. At the same time, I think Abomination's Prison also has the same, like, if it's destroyed, summon 1 from deck, so might as well search that, and if you get Drolled, then, well, just pop it with something else. But okay, that's good. Once per turn, you can target up to 3 Unchained cards in your grave, except Reincarnation, shuffle them into the deck, then you can destroy other cards you control up to the number shuffled. Okay, I mean, like I said, the first effect already makes this card good and playable, absolutely. This does make it better, though. This is a niche effect that's not going to end up mattering a lot of the times, but when it does, it's going to be really good. Because one thing that this does is it lets you play through hand traps better. Like, imagine you go activate this card, search Abominations. Oh no, Abomination Prison you can't shuffle with this. But let's just say you start comboing, and at some point you're stuck with like an Unchained monster on the field that has an on destruction effect. But you got hand trapped and you can't keep playing otherwise. And then you just go, okay, well, let me just target a couple of Unchained cards in my grave. Even just 1 is good enough already. And put them back to the deck just to pop my own card. Just to trigger that, you know? And sometimes you're going to find yourself in game states where just triggering your own destruction effect or anything that triggers off of a card being destroyed, like, for example, Yama in the graveyard, right? You just want to pop your own card just so you can trigger Yama in the graveyard. Or this, you know, the one we just read. If this card's destroyed by card effect, destroy all monsters on the field. Maybe you are in a spot where you can, like, trigger an effect to summon this from the deck, and then you don't have another effect to pop it, and you're just like, oh, well, my Rhoda that I activated earlier in the turn does have this bonus effect whenever I want, and that's that, right? It's easy pop whenever you want. That's nice. It's nice because it's a bonus effect on a card that you would already play, even if it didn't have that effect. Like, even if the second effect didn't exist, the first effect would make this card worth playing. So the fact that it's just on here as a bonus is great. And then sometimes I guess the recycling could matter. Usually I would say having to put back some of your monsters is not ideal, because like a lot of your Unchained monsters in the graveyard are actually resources if they are in the graveyard. Like I'm looking at Shayamas, Yama, and stuff like that. But if you ever run out of a certain one of in your deck and you actually want it in your deck, then that could be neat. Maybe the trap cards, you want them back in your deck, because like you can reset one trap from the graveyard with Sarama every turn. But then if you like run out of targets for Sharvara, for example, you know, this is going to be good. Let me just check real quick if Sharvara sets spell cards. Because I don't actually remember if it does. Unchained Soul of Sharvara does set an Unchained spell. Okay, that's massive too, because that means you can now access Abomination's Prison via Sharvara, which is something that was previously impossible, because it's, of course, itself is not an Unchained spell, so Sharvara could not set it from the deck. But Sharvara can set this, because it is an Unchained spell, and that can then add you Abomination's Prison, which makes Sharvara, which is already one of the best cards in your deck, even better. Okay, you know, these two combined, I think are already, like, I think those are better than all the other ones together that I've read. I like these two a lot, and it does add some needed context for the first wave of the support. And all in all, I like it now. I think I like the new Unchained support. It gives me some hope that maybe you can put together a more, like, basically a more balanced version of Unchained that is not, like, I don't want the deck to be too combo heavy, not just because combo decks in general, but because I actually think it would be better for Unchained to lean into that grind game aspect, because I do view that as one of the strengths of the archetype. I think if you're trying to just play a combo deck, then there's even better options out there than Unchained or Fiend stuff, because of Molchami Fuwalo's existing. But I feel like if Unchained finds a way to play better into cards like Fuwa, it's going to be a really, really strong mid-range option with these cards. And I could see these cards making that happen. I could see that being the case with these. You're probably still going to end up playing some Fiend, like generic Fiend support in the deck, like Fiendsmith Access and so on and so forth, just because those cards are going to be really good in the games where you're not going to be under Fuwalos. But this, I think that it's mainly the monster could make it so that Unchained itself can hold its own in games where you're under Fuwa and you can't access those Fiendsmith lines or whatever else you have in the deck, which is much needed. I think that is a very, very good set of two cards here from the Revolution booster. All right, well, that is it for this little Plus channel video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts on these new cards in the comments down below. And I hope to see you guys at the French National Championships, or you're going to tune into my stream over the course of the weekend, and I'll see you all there. So I'm leaving. I got to pack my bags now, and I'll see you on the weekend. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you for watching.